If you are planning to buy a TV in 2026, there is a truth that almost no one tells you. Two TVs may look exactly the same in the store, with the same logo, the same size, the same 4K resolution, but the actual experience at home can be worlds apart. Why is that? Because the TV industry today doesn't just sell technology, they sell marketing, specifications, and terms that confuse buyers. You will hear phrases like AI picture processing, quantum color, mini LED, 8K ready. Sounds very impressive, but often they don't reflect the actual quality of the TV. The reality is that a TV can look amazing under showroom lights for 10 minutes, but after a few months of use at home, it starts to lag, dim, and become something that annoys you every evening. So today, we will rank the 10 most popular TV brands of 2026 from worst to best based on real-world experience, long-term durability, and performance in an actual living room. And the number one position is not the brand that most people think. If there were a bottom tier of the TV food chain, Scepter and Element would be living there. Where do you usually see them? Right at the entrance of the electronics store, next to a huge discount sign like 65 inches for only $299. And in that moment, your brain thinks, wait, 65 inches for that cheap? Why not buy it? But this is the secret that the TV industry doesn't want you to figure out. Most TVs under $300 are not cheap because of advanced technology. They are cheap because everything inside has been stripped down to the bone. We're talking about the brightness is so low that in a slightly lit room, the screen looks like it's covered in a layer of mist. Black turns into muddy gray. The processor is as slow as a 2008 laptop. The menu lags to the point where you can press the remote, go get a drink, and come back. Some people say, it's a cheap TV, what do you expect? But the problem is not that it deteriorates after a few years. It was bad from day one. That's why many buyers of Scepter or Element often have the same experience. The TV doesn't break, but watching it every day is a small torture. And here's the interesting part. Many TV models in this segment use the cheapest panels in the entire industry, the kind of panels that major brands don't even use for their low-end models. Compared to brands like TCL or Hisense, the difference is like a bicycle versus a motorcycle. Both can run, but the experience is completely different. So, if you see Scepter or Element deeply discounted, remember, you're not saving money. You are buying long-term discomfort. And believe me, the next brand on the list is even more dangerous in a different way. If you like straightforward reviews, no PR, no flattery, please subscribe to the channel. We have 9 more brands to dissect. Okay, let's continue with the second name on the list. If Scepter and Element are the bottom of the market, then ONN is another level. Not necessarily bad right away, but it has a very clear strategy: achieve the lowest possible price. You walk into Walmart and see this: a pile of TVs stacked on top of each other, a huge yellow price tag, the words 4K Smart TV, Fire TV built-in. Sounds very attractive. 65-inch, 4K, Smart TV. But the price is only half of a Samsung TV. But this is where the story gets interesting. ONN was not designed to be a great TV. It is designed to meet the price point Walmart wants to sell. That means just enough brightness, if your room doesn't have daylight. The sports motion is slightly blurry, as if the players are leaving ghostly trails. The software was initially fine. Then it gradually slowed down over time. And you will see a recurring phrase on technology forums. When you first buy it, it's fine. But after a few months, everything starts to lag. The menu opens slower, the application loads slower, the text on the screen is starting to become harder to read. Not because the TV is broken, but because its hardware is just enough to run in the initial period. That's the kind of design the industry calls good enough for the showroom. Compared to brands like TCL or Hisense that are striving to improve quality, ONN is like a short-term rental car. It works, but no one wants to keep it for long. So if you see an ONN on a deep discount, remember, you're not buying technology. You are buying a price. And believe me, the next brand on the list looks much more trustworthy, But inside, it's a completely different story. Let's continue. Insignia is considered one of the most sophisticated marketing traps in the TV industry. You walk into Best Buy and see a TV with the Insignia logo. Next to it is a quite reasonable price tag. Plus it has built-in Fire TV, a familiar interface, and fully equipped Netflix and YouTube apps. And in your mind, you automatically think, oh, if Best Buy sells it, it must be good. And that's what makes Insignia exist. Insignia is essentially Best Buy's own TV brand. Simply put, they find a manufacturer to make a TV that is cheap enough, put the Insignia logo on it, and then sell it within their own system. Sounds like supermarket-branded cereal. It's edible, but no one is really proud of it. Inside these TVs, there is usually a basic LCD panel with contrast only at a barely acceptable level. Old processor chip, so the initial menu is fine, but then it gradually lags. Integrated ads in the operating system, sometimes more than you expect. The funny thing is that the Insignia user experience is often remarkably similar. The first month, quite okay. After about a year, the menu starts to lag, input switching slows down, and apps take longer to open. It's not the kind of thing that breaks immediately, but rather it gets a little slower each day, until you start wondering, why is this TV so annoying? Compared to budget brands like TCL that are trying to improve, Insignia feels like a TV designed to be good enough to sell, but not good enough to keep for long. But Insignia is not the most surprising brand on the list. The next brand is even more interesting. It has an extremely user-friendly interface. Millions of people love it, but inside, it's a hardware gamble. If you like this kind of marketing analysis, feel free to subscribe to the channel. We still have 7 more brands to dissect. Roku is a very interesting case in the TV industry. Because to be honest, Roku makes extremely good software. Their interface, simple, easy to understand, not complicated. You turn on the TV and immediately see Netflix, YouTube, Disney+. No complicated menus, no need to learn how to use it. That's why many people, especially older adults, prefer Roku. But here's a secret that very few people realize. Roku is not a TV manufacturer. Roku only makes the operating system. As for the TV you buy, it could be manufactured by TCL, Hisense, or some OEM factory trying to cut costs by every dollar. This leads to a phenomenon in the industry known as panel lottery. 2 Roku TVs with the same logo, the same box, the same size, but inside, the hardware can be completely different. One might be bright enough, with decent colors, and still fine after a few years. The other one, the screen is a bit dark, HDR is almost invisible. Colors are flat like unedited Instagram photos. From the sofa, the TV doesn't look broken, but it feels lifeless. Compared to companies that produce their own panels like Samsung or Sony, Roku is like an Android phone with hardware sourced from 5 different factories. The software is the same. The experience is hit or miss. So if you buy a Roku TV, remember, you are buying the simplicity of the software, but also accepting the gamble of the hardware. And the next brand on the list is truly amusing. It has a very beautiful image for the price, but it has a weakness that drives users crazy every day. Can you guess which brand it is? Keep your answer and wait to see if you guessed correctly. Vizio is probably the kind of brand that makes you both like and dislike it, because if we're just talking about picture quality for the price, Vizio really does quite well. We're talking about brightness strong enough for HDR to really pop, contrast better than many TVs in the same price range. Some lines, like the P series, have made Samsung and LG reconsider the budget segment. Simply put, if you stand in the showroom and look at the Vizio screen next to a TV that costs a few $100s more, you would think you just found a bargain. But the story starts to change when you bring it home and live with it every day. The problem is not with the panel. The problem lies with SmartCast Vizio's operating system. The menu sometimes responds slowly. The app opens at a speed that feels like it's contemplating life. And sometimes you press the remote, then sit and wait a few seconds, wondering, is the TV frozen or is the remote out of battery? The funny thing is that the Vizio user community has found an extremely popular solution. They don't use SmartCast. Many people plug in additional devices. Apple TV, Roku box, or Google TV stick to completely bypass the TV's original operating system. In other words, Vizio is like a car with a good engine, but the dashboard is designed by an intern. Compared to brands like TCL, where software and hardware are starting to balance out more, Vizio still feels like an unfinished experience. So if you choose Vizio, remember, you are buying a good screen, but not an easy-to-live-with TV. Okay, that's Vizio. But the next name on this list is even more interesting. It has specifications that make Samsung uncomfortable, but it has an issue that tech enthusiasts call a panel lottery. If you enjoy content that flips the script on tech marketing, just subscribe to the channel. The most exciting part of this ranking is yet to come. If there is a brand that truly annoys the big companies, it is Hisense. Because when you look at their specifications, the first feeling is often, wait, why is this TV so cheap? We are talking about things like mini LED backlight, extremely high brightness, sometimes exceeding 1000, 500 nits, decent gaming support, and prices that are usually several $100s cheaper than Samsung or Sony. On paper, Hisense looks like a supercar selling at the price of a regular car, and sometimes it really runs very well. A good Hisense can be bright, with outstanding HDR, and quite decent for watching sports. Even many U-series models make major brands reconsider their price segments. But this is where the story gets interesting. In the TV community, there is a very famous term, panel lottery. Simply put, it's a panel lottery. Two people buy the same Hisense model from the same store on the same day. But the TV they receive can have different screen uniformity, different blacks, different motion. One is excellent. The other one looks like a light version. That's why Hisense feels like a technological gamble. If you hit the jackpot, you'll feel like you've just beaten the system. But if not, you will understand why companies like Sony or Samsung still sell at higher prices. And the next brand on the new list is truly noteworthy. It used to be a budget brand, but in recent years, it has quietly become a market disruptor in the TV industry. Let's continue. Who knows? It might be the TV you're using to watch this video of mine. There is something quite interesting in the TV industry in recent years. If you go back about 7-8 years, TCL was often seen as the kind of brand, a cheap TV, just buy it temporarily. But then something unexpected happened. Instead of chasing flashy marketing, TCL did something quite contrary in the industry. They focused on things that few people talk about: stability and longevity. While many companies try to cram in terms like AI picture engine, quantum ultra color, 8K ready, TCL, on the other hand, does more practical things. Mini LED is implemented quite intelligently within the price range, supports gaming well with low latency, and the Google TV or Roku operating system runs quite stably. And what is the result? Lines like the TCL6, Series, or QM8 are starting to do something very annoying for the big brands, providing a near flagship experience, but at a price lower by several $100s. But the aspect that earns TCL the most respect from many in the tech community is not the specifications, but rather the way their TVs age over time. Many users report that after 4 or 5 years, their TCL TV still runs the menu normally, brightness doesn't drop significantly, and no strange errors appear. In the modern TV industry, that is not common at all. Simply put, if Hisense is like a panel gamble, then TCL is more of a disciplined choice. Not the flashiest. But usually, it disappoints you less. And from here, the rankings begin to enter the most interesting area. The next 3 brands are all true giants of the TV industry, a company that almost monopolizes OLED worldwide. If you like content that breaks down technology without flattering the company, feel free to subscribe to the channel. We are about to enter the top 3, where the real game begins. If you enter any discussion about high-end TVs, the name LG almost always comes up first. And the reason is quite simple. LG almost completely controls the OLED market. An interesting fact is that many OLED TVs bearing the logos of Sony, Panasonic, or other high-end brands still use panels produced by LG Display. In other words, LG is like the engine factory for the entire OLED TV industry. Other companies can fine-tune the software, colors, image processing. But the heart of that TV often comes from LG. And when you watch content on a good LG OLED, you'll understand why this technology is so highly praised. Black is truly black, not dark gray. Contrast is almost infinite. Gaming is extremely smooth with low latency. Many people say watching movies on an OLED sometimes feels like looking through a window instead of at a screen. But this is the part that marketing often doesn't mention. Not all LG TVs are OLED. LG's LCD lines, especially in the mid-range segment, can sometimes appear quite dull when compared to competitors like TCL or Hisense Mini LED. To put it simply, LG OLED, excellent. LG LCD, sometimes a bit hard to justify the price. Therefore, LG stands in third place. Extremely strong in OLED, but not all of its lineup is excellent. And from here, we step into two names that make the TV battle extremely interesting. One company is extremely popular, and another is considered the gold standard in the industry. If LG is the king of OLED, then Samsung is the master of brightness. Samsung TVs often have a very noticeable characteristic when standing in a store. They are brighter than almost everything around them, and this is not by chance. Samsung focuses heavily on high brightness, anti-glare capability, and a thin, premium design. In a living room with many windows or daylight, Samsung TVs usually perform better than many other brands. The screen does not reflect too strongly. Colors still stand out even when the room is not dark. That's why Samsung is very suitable for watching sports, watching the news, and bright living rooms. But Samsung also has two rather stubborn points. First, it still doesn't support Dolby Vision, even though most of the industry has switched to this standard. Secondly, the price is quite high compared to the specifications. You don't just pay for the panel. You also pay for brand, design, stability. In other words, Samsung is like a reliable luxury sedan. Not always the strongest on paper, but rarely disappoints you. But the number one spot on this list belongs to a company with a completely different philosophy. They don't compete on brightness. Not trying to impress in the showroom, they focus on what many companies have forgotten. Sony tops this list for a quite simple reason. They understand how people actually watch TV. While many companies try to increase brightness, enhance colors, and boost specifications, Sony focuses on the things that few people notice but directly impact the experience. For example, the best motion processing in the industry, sports and action scenes look smoother. Extreme upscaling, 720p content or cable TV still looks good. Natural colors, not overdone like some showroom TVs. There is a saying that many tech reviewers often use about Sony. Sony makes bad content look decent, good content look great, and great content look cinematic. That may sound small, but in real life, it's extremely important, because most of what we watch every day is not perfect 4K movies. It is YouTube, cable television, compressed streaming. And that's where Sony shines. Sony TVs are rarely the brightest. It's also rarely the cheapest one. But after 5 years of use, many people still feel the same way. This TV still feels just right. And that's why Sony holds the number one position. This is a little secret of the TV industry that few people say outright. The showroom is not designed to help you choose the right TV. It is designed to make every TV look great in the first 5 minutes. Pay close attention the next time you step into an electronics store. Extremely bright lights from all sides. Carefully selected demo video. Jumping dolphins, fireworks, 8K landscapes. All TVs are set to max brightness. In those conditions, almost every TV looks beautiful. But when you bring it home, everything changes. At home, the lighting is softer, the content is Netflix, YouTube, cable TV, not the ultra-optimized demo videos. And suddenly, the TV that once looked stunning in the showroom began to reveal minor flaws. Choppy motion, slightly harsh colors, laggy menu. To put it bluntly, the showroom looks like an Instagram photo that has gone through 10 layers of filters. But the experience at home, that's real life. After all the brands we just talked about, there are 3 very simple rules. First, don't trust the specifications too much. Sounds familiar? 120 Hz, 240 Hz, AI Ultra Quantum Processor X, 9000. Sounds impressive. But in reality, the difference between 120 Hz and 240 Hz for most viewers hardly changes your life. Secondly, don't trust the showroom, trust long-term experience. A good TV doesn't just look good for 10 minutes. It needs good image processing, smooth motion when watching sports, stable performance after a few years. That's why Sony, Samsung, and TCL are often rated higher. Thirdly, the best TV is the one you forget it exists. It sounds a bit strange, but this is the truth. A good TV doesn't make you constantly adjust settings, get annoyed by laggy menus, or notice strange colors. It just disappears and lets the content shine. And that's the true sign of a good TV. Finally, the most important thing to remember is there is no TV that is perfect for everyone. A TV might be great for a brightly lit living room, but not a good choice for someone who enjoys watching movies in a dark room. A TV can have extremely impressive specifications, but the daily user experience might be frustrating for you. Therefore, this ranking is not to say that one brand is absolutely good and another is completely bad. It only helps you see through the layer of marketing and flashy numbers to better understand the true strengths and weaknesses of each brand. Now I'm very curious. Which brand of TV are you using? How many years have you been using it? And are you satisfied with it? Please share in the comments section. Real-life experiences can sometimes be more valuable than any ranking. If you like straightforward tech breakdown videos, no PR, no flattery, please subscribe to the channel. The rankings in this video are based on a compilation of user experiences, expert evaluations, and market trends for 2026. Technology is always changing, and each specific model may differ. So consider this as a reference perspective, not absolute purchasing advice. Thank you for watching until the end, and see you in the next video.